but it was an incident where, like I said before, their studio equipment had got stolen. And I'm saying all this to say is that it created an atmosphere where these brothers were, for a lack of a better term, was getting bullied in those days. And some of them ran straight into the mosque and became 100%, Muslims, which I respect because they chose their path. And then others of them, they kind of like played with this, but after a while, you didn't really start seeing them as much as we saw them before. Like when I first came out, I would see them in different areas. You wasn't really seeing them, and it was some of their brothers that actually would build with us and wanted to come to the parliament after we, would talk to them and so forth. So I say all that to say, guys, I honestly think that a lot of the problems that be going on now is, for one, Wakil, I believe, has a hang up over the run-ins he had back in those days. And the only way the brothers weren't really swift enough to stand on their square. Like they would do.
Brothers, which brothers you talking about? The Muslim guys? Or Wakil?
Yeah.
He wasn't swift enough back then?
No, they knew their lessons. But I mean, as far as, their argument was an argument from authority. Elijah said this, so it has to be right. But it was no proof. There was no objective proof or evidence to back up what they claimed was their deity, which was their worship of fraud. And we were trying to explain to them, because most of these brothers weren't from New York. Wakil was from Jersey, so he was familiar. I myself was from Brooklyn. We were trying to explain, look, brothers, that belief you have, that's cool. But that's the mosque belief, and it's cool. We don't have no problems with that. Those brothers are our brothers, because we fight hand in hand when it comes to, oppression, the devils. As far as New York, there was no separation when it came to us fighting and struggling against, our open enemy. But this is not what we teach over here. And we was coming at them like that, but there were some brothers who were rough around the edges. And, I was, I'm guilty of it too, what I'm saying? And we would put out a verbal foot in their ass, and sometimes a physical one, you know what I mean? So I believe them brothers got, some of them got hung up over that. And it's kind of like when you have a bully in high school and, that shit just never left you. You know what I mean? You just still got all of these issues. And when you see a bully, you just got this hatred. And now it's like they have a platform to actually aim their gripe toward, to be able to say something to us. And now we're adults. Nobody's going to run up and try to worry about screaming on cats or punching nobody in the face over this stuff. Nobody, we more mature now, so they're a lot more vocal because they can be. Yeah, it reminds me of how you see all the people in Brooklyn wearing polo now, but when we was coming up, you couldn't wear low if you wasn't a certain type of dude. Like, you got your stuff taken. So now with these brothers are out in the open. They're probably, rocking the flag. I remember one time they stopped rocking the flag and they was just rocking the button, the picture of Allah. You know what I mean? So I believe that, the cats is trying to make up for what happened back in the days. And I had this conversation one time with Wakil. I said, yo, God, what you doing is dangerous. I said, it reminds me of America and Israel, where Israel is a small state. That's the Muslim guys. You're just a small little group compared to the Nation of Islam and the 5%ers. And you're like in between both groups. And what you did was you had a personal beef with the gods. And our beef wasn't over the teachings of the Nation of Islam. It never was that. But what happens is that kind of like convolutes the situation when we start trying to defend or at least express to them what the difference is as far as Allah's mindset, what he put in us, and what they're trying to teach. And that's what it was. Like, yo, y'all not teaching what we taught. We don't care what the Nation of Islam teach. Those are brothers. I used to go get my bean pie, build with the brothers. We used to express differences, but it never was anything that we got hung up over. But these brothers were different. They were wearing our flag and they were mixing both together. So I told them, I said, they're mommy America and Israel, because we never had a beef with the Nation of Islam. Not in my era, maybe in the 70s and the pre-penal system and the law in the 60s, but we didn't have a beef with the Nation of Islam in my era. You know what I'm saying? We had differences in the way we understood these teachings, but we had a beef with y'all for what y'all did. And y'all were too small to defend yourselves as a group and as individuals. They never would be able to defend themselves verbally or physically. So what was the next best thing? They did what Israel did. Israel made America believe that they had beef with the Palestinians. Israel had beef with the Palestinians, but they started making Americans fear the Palestinians. Like, yo, they gonna come bomb y'all. This is terrorism. They gonna fuck up America too because America supports Israel. So while killing them did the same thing. He starts putting out this lie that 5%ers have a problem with the Nation of Islam. And the reason why he did that was because he was able to rouse up a lot of the Nation of Islam members and get these brothers to come over and start basically siding with him and protecting him and fighting up with us. And you see he do it all the time. He does it skillfully. When he sets up a post like a troublemaker, he throws words out there and say things that he know will cause a spark or cause friction, likely to keep him relevant. And when somebody says something or corrects him in what he says, then there's an emotional Muslim that jumps on his bandwagon that argues for him. And 9 times out of 10, their argument is not objective, it's really emotional, because they believe that in us trying to explain the difference, we're actually shitting on what they teach. And that's not it.
If Mecca did this.
Peace. In celebration of each other, we support each other's hustle. Weight Life has sponsored this content. You can get a sweatshirt, t-shirt, or a hoodie at the Common Unity store of a law school in Mecca. Or just simply hit me up. I got the hookup. Peace.